Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man, at your services. How are you all? Hope you're doing very well. I've got my Easter bonnet on. A bunch of clowns. Hey folks, hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, before we get into this kilted carnival of absolute chaos, I just want to say a great big hello and a huge big shout out to my good friend and a huge fan of the channel, Paul Carter. Yes, you, Paul Carter. I met your mother. Your mother stopped me and she went, you're never off our screens, our Paul is watching you all the time. Good on you, Paul. You know what your mum said? She said, oh, you look much younger in real life. Well, I say your mum. I think it was your sister. Come on now. Yeah. Anyway, a pleasure to meet a woman of taste. No, cheers, mate. Glad you're enjoying all the... whatever you want to call this, because I honestly don't know. Anyway, folks, we've got a mask to show you. Well, there's several on show right now, but the one you've just seen parading around, just having a laugh. Oh yes. Now, for my money and my considered carnival opinion, this is the scariest clown of all. And they're all pretty damn scary, aren't they? After all. It's Twisty the Clown from American Horror Story. Oh yeah, American Horror Story Freak Show. Now, people ask me, oh, do you like American Horror Story? And I go, oh god, yeah, I love it. What do you think of this season? And I go, oh shit, do you know what? I've only actually seen 2 seasons of it. I saw the first season, Murder House, and I saw this season, Freak Show. And there's about 5 other seasons at least, which I haven't seen. Although I know plenty of people that have, and they've often told me what's happened and what's been going on, and so I feel like I've seen it. Like Breaking Bad, I never saw Breaking Bad, but I felt like I had because a lot of friends of mine told me in minute detail every single scene overlapped with dialogue and all sorts of recreation. So I felt like I was watching it in 3D. But yeah, but I did watch Freak Show. And I loved it. And this guy, oh my god. I mean, clowns, they're sheer terrifying anyway, at the best of times, aren't they? Just that big grin, the grease paint, you know, the inane antics, the big shoes, the squirty flour, the bucket of confetti. Yes, it's maddening, it's insanity. How do we allow them to get away with it? Because they're all kind of sad when it comes down to it. The tears of a clown. Yeah. So here you go. This is Twisty the Clown as reconstructed and sculpted for Trick or Treat Studios by Russ Lukich. And my god, this is the economy one, not the big deluxe one with the detachable smile, the grin, the rictus-grin of mirth, macabre mirth, which when it is unhinged reveals the blasted missing lower jaw. Because Twisty, who we never find out is called Twisty in Freak Show, I think it's not till the latest season that we find, because he reappears in a comic book, a comic strip, and then in a nightmare sequence, and then we get to know that he was called Twisty. Someone out there is going to correct me on this because I've not seen that future series, so I don't know. I need to catch up though, because as an infant he's been dropped on his head, so there's already a bit of damage going on there, and he has grown up to become a children's entertainer, a clown, and in the particular circus that he's involved in, there's some little small people, let's just call them small people, who are jealous of his popularity, and then because he just loves kids and he's entertaining children and they all love him, they cast aspersions on his character. Yes, they say he's not really blowing those balloons up. He doesn't really fill those big floppy shoes. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no. They call him a pedo. So, in shame, he's driven out of town. He tries to come back years later. It's a little town of Jupiter in Missouri, I think it is, in 1950s odd sort of, era, and he can't get a job entertaining kids again, which is the thing he wants to do. His mother's died, she's an alcoholic and she's died. So he starts making toys and gizmos and tries to sell them, but he's getting nowhere. His former, stigmatized past is coming back to haunt him. So he tries to kill himself. He chews on the business end of a shotgun, but he even gets that wrong, and all he does is blow off his lower jaw. So he then comes back as the vengeful Twisty the Clown with this rictus mask prosthetic which he's put together, strapped around his face, and he has this, that's someone's scalp, folks, in case you hadn't realised, that's someone's scalp stretched over his noggin. The grease paint, the makeup, and these little tufts of hair, they are actually meant to be a throwback to Lon Chaney Sr. from his old vintage movie, Laugh Clown Laugh. These little tufts are meant to mimic that. So, but this mask by Russ Lukich, and approved by, I've forgotten the guy's name, the guy that played Twisty the Clown, John Carroll Lynch, and also Mike McCash, who is the special senior effects guy on American Horror Story Freak Show. They both approved this, and you can see why. So often you see with masks that, approved by so-and-so who worked on the show, or approved by the guy that wore the makeup, approved by the special effects. Yeah, and then you get it and you go, well, okay, it does look like it, but yeah. That is absolutely incredible. Russ, mate, that is truly astonishing. And in an age where I keep on saying about the paint work on some of these, you can touch them up with Sharpie pens. Go back, there's numerous videos on that. Why would you with this? That is absolutely uncanny. That looks realistic. Now, I'm not going to make any apologies for the lighting in here. I don't really know what I can do other than show this in broad daylight, and you do see him in broad daylight as well. So it's really even more emphatic when you see something like that, and he's a big dude in his dirty, dishevelled clown costume. And even though he's now Twisty the twisted, violent, vengeful clown, he hates the grown-ups, but he still loves the kids. So he abducts the children and the young people to his old abandoned school bus, and he wants to entertain them, but he doesn't like the parents, because the parents don't give him candy, the parents make them do chores, the parents are just disciplinarian and authoritarian, and a lot of Aryans, which would have made Hitler very happy. Too soon, apparently, too soon. That's because you're from the 1950s, yes, okay, yeah, now it makes sense. Look at that face, look at that. I mean, he entertains the kids with severed heads when his balloon animals don't really work out, and his little toys and gadgets don't work out. He goes into a rage, so he'll play with severed heads and other body parts to try and impress them. He will meet the carnival ghost, Edward Mordrake, I think it is, who realises that yes, he should be one of his carnival souls of ghosts. So when we find out his backstory, spoiler alert by the way, he will then stab Twisty to death, and Twisty will join him in his ghostly entourage, his troupe of carnival freaks. But anyway, this mask, yeah, I know, there's a bit of stoving in there, but it is perfect, trust me. The deluxe one, as I say, has a detachable face mouthpiece, and underneath you have that blown apart lower jaw with a few straggly teeth and a lot of goriness. Why didn't I get that one? Yes, Kilt-Man, why didn't you get that one? Well, 2 reasons. One is that I don't want to see him without that. He's at his most terrifying with that grin. And then you go, oh, well, but Kilt-Man, yeah, but on the deluxe one, you can just refasten it on, and yeah. I have heard tell from only a couple of people that it's a bit awkward, and when it doesn't attach itself properly, you've kind of got a bit of a bum steer or a bum chin. Hasn't Kirk Douglas got a bum chin? And but the main reason really was it was more expensive, so I plumped for this. But I do genuinely like the fact that I don't want to mess with that. If you do, then that's great. Get the deluxe one, and I hope it works out. The attachment works out great for you. But that's the look that I absolutely love, and I'm terrified by. This, without a doubt, scared the bejesus out of me watching Freak Show. Now look at that. Look at those eyes. You do see out of those pupils there. Look at those. Bloodshot, and you've got this sort of greeny, off emerald look. But look at the texture and the paintwork on the skin. That's a human face with grease paint on it. That so captures it. That is absolutely electrifyingly good. You know, I'm genuinely stunned. I hate to use the word extraordinary because it makes me feel a bit like a cross between Lorraine Kelly and Billy Connolly, who just used the word extraordinary to an extraordinary degree. But this is, yeah, he said extraordinary. It is amazing. The detail on it, the features, you know, I'm actually genuinely blown away by it. Look at the bloody scalp and the smears which have run down into the grease paint. Look at the dirt and the smudges on the grease paint. That is how you look. Being as a guy that's worn a lot of face paint in his time, especially when Scotland are playing rugby, I've got the white and the blue on. I'm doing the old salt here. But it looks like this. That's exactly how it looks. Oh, it's all blown out. I apologise. I better keep it that sort of distance. But it's not a uniform coverage. It looks genuine and authentic. It's smeared on. It's got dirt into it. Some of it's rubbed away. But it is absolutely unbelievably good. The skin tone and texture of this scalp on here. The mottling on top of the bonds. Bits of bruising and contusions. But this, gloriously ghoulish, is genuinely frightening. And he's big. And he sometimes hides in plain sight amongst other mannequins, like in the toy shop. He's just standing there. He's just decapitated the store owner, and the assistant comes in, and he's standing. Oh, no, it's him! Like, it's genuinely a terrifying creation. Yeah, your Pennywise. Yeah, your Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime. That is Lon Chaney Sr. from London After Midnight. Not the same as Laugh, Clown, Laugh, but again, look at the rictus-grin. And that, I have no idea. That's a voodoo mask. But it's got this lovely sort of horrible gaping maw, which is a bit similar to that. But look at it. The colours are spectacular. I wouldn't dream of enhancing this or touching it up. No matter how much you beg, I'm not touching you up, sir. Says the guy with his hand right inside him. Yeah, you think you're a clown? Look at that though, folks. Rumour has it that Twisty the Clown was based on John Wayne Gacy, one of the world's most notorious serial killers, who did dress as a clown as a child entertainer, Pogo the Clown. And he abducted, abused and murdered something like 33 kids. He was lethal injection, I think, took him out in the end. And even that was too good for him. So, but the pedigree of clowns in horror cultdom is, where do you find the genesis? These things, these gestures, they're already terrifying. What is it, coulrophobia, the fear of clowns? I know that American Horror Story did revisit this sort of thing in, was it Cult? I don't know, one of the later ones where you've got a bunch of clowns who are sort of appearing in front of this woman who's got a traumatic background anyway, and they're doing all sorts of wicked things in supermarkets. But clowns, yeah, whether they're killer clowns from outer space, whether they're just tumbling on into the sawdust and all that with their bumbling antics and they're grinning and everyone laughs, but there's something horribly sinister about them regardless. Pennywise, the Joker, any adaptation of a clown made into a character of pure mischief and evil, that's what they represent. A figure of fun, a figure of ridicule and humiliation, which is why it's so easy to foist upon them this tragic backstory. And the thing about like American Horror Story and many other sort of modern slants on the serial killer is that we do delve into the background of why they do what they do. Again, I'm playing some of the music from Freak Show, as well as some other clowny sort of muzak. The muzak of mischief. But we do foist upon so many serial killers now in movies. A reason why they do what they do is because of psychology and police psychiatrists who delve into the profiles of serial killers and these human monsters to find out what makes them tick, and we become fascinated by that. But in a weird, perverse sort of way, it kind of gives us, oh, well, it's not really their fault. When it comes down to it, it may not be their fault. A troubled upbringing, trials and traumas that they've gone through, systematic abuse, doesn't matter. If they've just abducted and killed a member of your family, you want them dead. Especially, I don't care how upsetting his backstory is. He just wanted to look after kids and entertain them. Yeah, but you're slicing people up really, really badly, and you're entertaining kids now with severed body parts. It's just not on, mate. Now you imagine this leaning over your bed and looking at you. I've stood, you won't get the effect here, but I've stood with it, and this really freaked me out actually. Freaked me out. It freak showed me out. And I stood with it like that with my hand inside it, and I raised it up like that, and then made it look down at me. Oh God. It's blood curdling. Let's see if I can possibly try to emulate that now without the flash of that thing. So he's looking at you. He's getting bigger. Tell me, my love, in words divine. Yeah, you're not really getting that, are you? Just take my word for it. This mask is amazing, truly amazing. Some people would say it's quite big. It is. Now, I'm lucky with the way that this one seems to fit me because I've got quite a bulky barnet, and a bit like a lot of these guys, have got ridiculous hairdos as well. Not a problem you've got, although. I was trying to work out, is that like some kind of flag? Does it represent a flag? The red, green and yellow? That's not Jamaica, is it? Is it Nigeria? I don't know. Is it Lagos? I genuinely don't know. I'm just trying to find rhyme and reason to things that really don't need it. But when I put it on, like a lot of masks, you do, if it's not swimming on you, and you go, and you see yourself in the mirror, you go, oh my God. For a second, you frighten yourself because you have literally become someone and something else. And this one genuinely does that. Now, as I say, I've recently begun to, rehaul masks and do my own modifications. And I look at this and I think, what would I do with that? I'll tell you what I do with it. Nothing is what I do with it. You can see, I've got the angle just right so the light isn't shining too much. You can see where this prosthetic, this makeshift toothy fanged prosthetic fits on. See where it's strung in, like sinew, I suppose. but you can see the clear separation there and the three-dimensionality of it. You know, it almost, there's a bit there where you think, oh, I'll just peel it off. Maybe they sent me the deluxe one by mistake. No, they didn't. It is what it is, and it is spectacularly extraordinary. For people that love the tags, I will show you the tags just to let you know. There's the tag, American Horror Story. There's the stuff on the back. Yes. And of course, we know that Pepper there. That was no CG, and she wasn't a genuine. I forget the term for the horrible name is a pinhead, but I forget the term, the medical term for that deformity. But she wasn't. She's a gorgeous woman, and it was prosthetics and makeup and lighting that made her look like that. God, there's hope for us all. And there's the big proper trick or treat normal label telling you what to do and what not to do with it. And it does remind you that this is the Twisty economy mask. But as I say, there is the deluxe one. If you've got that one, let me know what you think of it, and let me know if really I should have invested in that. But if I had that one, I kind of know already that I would never exhibit it or display it without this on. So what's the point? What's the point? So if you want that option, then great, brilliant. But for me personally, I know already that I'm never going to show that. I wouldn't want to show it with its lower jaw missing and a few mangled fangs, the mutilated molars. That's not the way I want to show it. To me, that's Twisty. I mean, that is twisted enough, isn't it? Look at it. It's brutish, but there's such life to it as well. I hope you can see what I mean with this. That grease paint and the way it's rubbed away, it's absolutely so realistic. And the sort of faded makeup, but those eyes, there's life in those. Of course, once you put it on, well, let's put it on again, shall we? Put your latex where your mouth is, Kilt-Man. That doesn't sound right, does it? So get your clown costume, which I think Trick or Treat do a full Twisty costume as well, with its big dusty pom-poms and dishevelled, probably piss stained and all that. Because I think he sleeps in all that gear as well, you know. Nothing wrong with that, mate. I've slept in many a kilt, honestly. Just depends where I end up after the pubs close. Now, on the inside, folks, yeah, I know, because some of you like to see it. Well, we've got the little pumpkin. The pumpkin mark is there. There are no initials or any kind of signage. But curiously, on the inside, there is this, what looks like bloodstains. And on the outside, that is just, well, it's just the mask. I mean, don't go saying, oh, it's that leaked through, because that's all over the show. But for some reason, we have these two little marks in there. I don't know. An accident on purpose. I don't know. I like them. I just like them. It's almost like a vampire bite on the inside. But you can see the sculpting and the mould of this, where that prosthetic mouthpiece is sculpted in. See that? Sort of lattice work of the molars there. But that is, once again, I can't tell you how impressive this is. These are hollow. These are, you know, look, waggling that about. They're hollow. So if you wanted to, you could put some paper in that, bag it out a little bit. That one seems to be actually a little bit stoved in, so I might have to do something for that. But you know, that's not a fault of the mask. That's just, you know, how this has been shipped and how it's turned up. Twisty the Clown. Jesus Christ. I don't get unnerved easy. I do not. have faced worse than you, and I've scared them off. But that is genuinely unnerving. It obviously helps the fact that if you've seen the show, you know just how scary he is. And then you get this, and it's so accurate to what you've seen. You go, oh shit. So you've got to kind of be careful where you put this. When I get a new mask, or new masks, because they often travel in pairs, I find. Oh, this one didn't. No one would travel with him. I put him in the bedroom, facing our master bed, and right down the far end, stacked up, but they're kind of looking down, and Mrs. Kilt-Man is not too, well, actually doesn't give a shit, it just turns the other cheek, literally turns the other cheek, and starts snoring. But I prop myself up on the pillows, and I just stare at these things looking back at me from across the room. They're not at the end of the bed, they're on a stack of my t-shirts right down the far end, on a chest of drawers. But so they're quite high, and I position them so they're looking down at me. Oh Jesus! And normally I go to a werewolf or something like that. And I like that. Oh, that's not great. I love that mask. I would be careful. I'd be very wary of putting that in your bedroom. And then you wake up at a certain time in the man's life. He finds himself getting up at 3, 4 in the morning for reasons other than nightmares. Gets up, stumbles out of bed, and then to be confronted by that, well, you won't need to go all the way to the bathroom then. Job done, literally. So, but look at this again. Look, these sort of sinews which are attaching this. Beautiful. The blood work, sort of fresh blood around it, which you can imagine that he does touch up. He would probably put some more like red paint on that, but he forgets about the dripping that's coming down here, and he forgets to highlight these diamond flashes over his eyes. And look at the smudges of the black around his eyes. It looks aged, it looks decrepit, it looks used and lived in, and that's the effect that he has. That's the effect that they strove for in the show. And my God, that's what Trick or Treats and Russ Lukich have come up with here. It is just incredible. I've got to give massive thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. The other one's in here. The other one is now. The other thumb is now. Hang on a minute. It's in the green. It's in the green. Hello, hello. Yeah, potato. So, folks, are you fans of American Horror Story? Should I watch the other ones? I've heard about all of them, and I've heard some of them bit hit and miss. But Murder House, the first season, was just fantastic. You never knew what was coming up next, and I love how the show seems to Americana, 1950s carnivals and all that, and the travelling circuses, and how TV was coming in and it was destroying their art. So it captured a lot more than just the horror of circuses and freaks and all that, like, and persecution and bigotry, but and obviously psychopathic tendencies. But you have like Roanoke Island and the curse of Roanoke. You have aliens. You have twisted asylum experiments taking place. You have the witches of Salem coming back. A lot of it is pure Americana, hence the title American Horror Story. It is shades of Southern Gothic, but also Hollywood, Tinseltown turned to terror, and just that decrepitude of the land of dreams. It's brilliant. And okay, you don't need to convince me. I've convinced myself. I've got to catch up on the rest of American Horror Story. That's thanks to... Alright, don't stare at me like that. I've already said I'm going to watch the rest of it. God, these clowns. Have you got no sense of humour? Send in the clowns. There ought to be clowns. Except when the clowns look like this! Folks, I have been and always shall be Kilt-Man at your services. Please, in the meantime, and this lunatic, big grinning in between time, take it easy, be happy, be healthy, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. And for God's sake, have fun doing what you're doing. Because if it isn't fun doing it, stop doing it and do something that you do enjoy. It's not rocket science. So please, be happy and healthy. And if all else fails, drink whiskey. It makes me merry. Gonna see you all. And once again, a big shout out to Paul Carter and his mum.